The climate trap of transport, the difficult journey from petrol to an electric future. How to avoid a climate disaster, Part 5. Imagine it is morning. A man picks up his car keys, starts the engine, and leaves for the office. At the same time, on some highway, a truck is rushing toward the city carrying thousands of kilograms of goods. In the sky, a plane is going to another country carrying hundreds of passengers. In the sea, a ship filled with containers is moving from one port of the world to another port. Everything looks normal, because movement is the very speed of the modern world. But the fear is hidden right here. The further we move forward, the more fuel burns. And the curiosity is, if cars can become electric, will trucks, planes and ships also be able to become zero carbon just as easily? In the previous 4 parts, we saw the big picture of the climate disaster. In the first part, the talk was about reaching from 51 billion to zero, meaning bringing the greenhouse gases going into the atmosphere every year slowly close to zero. In the second part, we understood that making electricity clean is the biggest plug point, because clean power can change the entire economy. In the third part, the hidden climate cost of cement, steel and plastic came forward, where the problem was not just of burning fuel, but was hidden in the chemistry of materials too. In the fourth part, we saw that our plate, fields, fertilizer, livestock and food waste are also a part of the climate story. Now this fifth part takes us toward the road, the sky and the sea. In Bill Gates' book, How to Avoid a Climate Disaster, while explaining the transport sector, a very interesting point comes up. Gasoline is a very powerful fuel. A lot of energy is packed into a little liquid fuel. This is the reason why a car can run for hundreds of kilometers as soon as its tank is filled. This is the reason why trucks can carry cargo over long distances, planes can fly for hours, and ships can carry containers for thousands of kilometers. Fossil fuels have been not just cheap, they have been energy dense too. And this very greatest strength of theirs has become the greatest difficulty for the climate. The transport sector accounts for a large part of global emissions. In Bill Gates' framework, transport is linked to around 16% of greenhouse gas emissions. According to the IEA, carbon dioxide emissions from the transport sector had reached around 8 gigatons in 2022, and road transport is the largest part of it. What this means is that if the world has to move toward net zero, movement will have to be made clean too. Work will not be completed just by changing factories and power plants. The vehicle that runs on the road every day, the goods that reach our homes every day, and the flights that connect the world, the energy story of all of them will have to change. First, let's talk about passenger cars, because for common people, transport often means a car, bike, scooter or bus. Cars run in very large numbers across the world and produce emissions by burning petrol or diesel. But the good thing is that a zero-emission alternative is already available for passenger cars, electric vehicles. EVs do not release carbon dioxide from the tailpipe. If they are charged with clean electricity, their climate benefit increases even more. The story of EVs has changed very rapidly over the past few years. According to the IEA's Global EV Outlook 2025, electric car sales worldwide stood at more than 17 million in 2024, and the expectation was stated for it to go above 20 million in 2025. This shows that EVs have now not remained just a niche technology of rich countries, but have become a serious part of the global auto market. EV adoption has grown rapidly in China, Europe, and many emerging markets. But there are challenges inside the EV success story too. Filling fuel in a petrol car takes a few minutes. Charging an EV can take more time, although fast charging networks are reducing this gap. A petrol pump is found everywhere, but charging stations are not equally available in every country and every city yet. Battery cost is reducing, but vehicle price, charging infrastructure, grid capacity, and the supply chain of raw materials are still important issues. Meaning, EVs are a solution but not an easy solution. Here the point about electricity comes forward again. If EVs are charged with coal-based electricity, the total emissions benefit can decrease. Therefore, to make transport clean, making the power grid clean is necessary too. This is the reason why Part 2 and Part 5 are directly connected. An electric car will give full climate value only when the electricity system is clean too. If the grid is giving power from renewable, nuclear or low-carbon sources, the impact of EVs will be much stronger. EVs are practical for passenger cars, but the story of heavy trucks is difficult. Long-distance trucks need a lot of energy. They have to lift cargo too, and cover long distances too. The larger the battery, the heavier the vehicle will be. And if the vehicle is heavy, cargo capacity can decrease. Diesel fuel is energy dense. To store that much energy in a battery, more weight can be required. This is the reason why a battery solution alone is not always easy in heavy transport. On some routes, electric trucks are possible, especially in short-haul and fixed-route transport. City delivery vans, buses, mining trucks, and port vehicles can be electric because they operate in a limited range and can do depot charging. But in long-haul trucking, charging time, range, payload, and infrastructure are big challenges. Here, options like hydrogen fuel cells, biofuels, electrofuels, and hybrid systems come into the discussion. No single solution will work everywhere. The idea of biofuel looks simple. Plants take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and fuel is made from them. When that fuel burns, carbon goes back into the atmosphere. In theory, this cycle can look carbon neutral. But in the real world, issues like land use, fertilizer, water, processing energy, and food competition come up. If forests are cut to make biofuel or fuel crops are grown instead of food crops, the climate benefit can become weak. Therefore, making sustainable biofuel is not easy. Electrofuels or synthetic fuels are another path. These fuels can be made from clean electricity, hydrogen, and captured carbon dioxide. If carbon has been taken from the atmosphere and that same carbon is released back during fuel burning, the net effect can be less. But making electrofuels is energy intensive and expensive. Making them cheap on a large scale is a big challenge right now. Still, for aviation, shipping, and heavy transport, these can be a part of the future toolkit. Now let's talk about planes. Aviation holds a special place in the climate challenge because a plane has to remain light. A battery is heavy and jet fuel is very energy dense. Therefore, running large passenger planes on a battery is not practical yet. Experiments are going on with small electric planes or on short-distance flights, but running a long-haul aircraft like the Boeing 787 on a battery is very difficult with current technology. For this reason, work is going on for sustainable aviation fuel, synthetic fuels, efficiency improvement, and future aircraft design for aviation. Fuel burn is not the only issue in aviation. High-altitude emissions, contrails, and non-CO2 effects are also a part of climate discussions, although measuring them and including them in policy is complex. But one thing is clear, if air travel demand keeps rising, controlling aviation emissions will be necessary. Here, efficiency standards, better air traffic management, lighter materials, sustainable fuels, and perhaps alternative transport on short-distance routes like high-speed rail can help. The story of shipping is different. A large part of global trade runs through ships. Our everyday things, electronics, clothes, machinery, food items, raw materials, all cross the sea in containers. Ships transport huge cargo in a very efficient way, but they often run on heavy bunker fuel or marine fuels. These fuels are cheap, but produce emissions. Decarbonizing shipping is difficult because ships run in international waters and global rules are required. The International Maritime Organization adopted a new strategy regarding shipping emissions in 2023, in which reducing the carbon intensity of international shipping and a direction toward net zero GHG emissions close to 2050 was set. The 2023 strategy also includes the ambition to bring zero or near-zero emission fuels and technologies into energy use to at least 5% and with effort to 10% by 2030. This shows that global coordination is necessary in the shipping sector because no single country can enforce ocean transport rules alone. For shipping, options like ammonia, methanol, hydrogen-based fuels, biofuels, wind-assisted propulsion, and efficiency improvements are being discussed. But every option has its own problem. Ammonia is toxic, hydrogen storage is difficult, clean feedstock is needed for methanol, and bunkering infrastructure is needed at ports for new fuels. Ships run for decades, therefore ships built today will remain a part of the emission story for many years to come. This is the reason why early action is necessary. There is another layer in the transport sector: urban design. If cities are built such that a car is necessary for every task, emissions will rise. But if public transport is good, walking and cycling are safe, there are mixed-use neighborhoods, and offices, schools, markets are not very far away, then vehicle dependence can decrease. Climate-friendly transport is not just the name of changing the vehicle. It is the name of changing city planning too. Solutions like carpooling, public transport, metro, buses, cycling and walking can look very old but are effective in reducing emissions. Every person cannot buy an EV. But if there is a reliable bus system in the city, safe footpaths and last-mile connectivity, thousands of people can reduce daily emissions. For developing countries, this is particularly important because if they copy the car-dependent development model, both future emissions and congestion will increase. Fuel efficiency standards play a big role too. When governments make efficiency rules for vehicle manufacturers, companies work on better engines, lighter vehicles, and improved designs. This reduces emissions, and consumers can get savings in fuel costs too. For cars and trucks, such standards are in place in many places. Efficiency standards are needed in aviation and shipping too, but due to international coordination, this is tougher. Now think on the consumer side. Should every person stop traveling? No. Mobility is a part of modern life. People go to work, meet family, buy goods, do business, do tourism. The solution is not to eliminate mobility, but to make it cleaner, smarter, and more efficient. Where possible, reducing unnecessary trips, using public transport, carpooling, adopting walking and cycling, choosing efficient vehicles, and taking flights thoughtfully, all these are practical steps. But then that same thing will have to be remembered: individual action alone is not enough. If public transport is bad in a city, a person will use a car. If charging infrastructure is not there, EV adoption will be slow. If clean fuels are expensive, airlines and shipping companies will not adopt them. Therefore, in transport decarbonization, government policy, infrastructure investment, technology innovation, and consumer behavior all are needed together. There is a big question of jobs and the economy in the transport sector too. The auto industry gives employment to millions of people. Petrol pumps, mechanics, refineries, logistics companies, trucking operators, airlines, ports, all are a part of the transport economy. If the clean transition is poorly managed, it will affect workers and small businesses. Therefore, the transition must be fair. Mechanics should get EV training, jobs should be created in charging infrastructure, the battery recycling industry should develop, and small transport operators should get affordable finance. The battery supply chain is important too. The demand for lithium, nickel, cobalt, and other minerals can rise with EV growth. If mining happens in an irresponsible way, environmental and social problems can be created. Therefore, clean transport does not mean just eliminating tailpipe emissions. Battery recycling, responsible mining, material efficiency, and alternative battery chemistries are necessary too. Otherwise, by reducing one problem, another problem can increase. Now, if we look at the entire story of transport, the pattern is clear. In short-distance passenger transport, EVs look like a strong solution. Two-wheelers, three-wheelers, buses, and city delivery vehicles can electrify rapidly. For heavy trucks, route-specific solutions are needed. Aviation and shipping will need clean fuels and efficiency improvements. And cities will have to be redesigned to reduce car dependence, meaning there is no single magic solution in transport either. This is the continuous message of Bill Gates' book. Avoiding a climate disaster is possible, but for that, the distinct problem of every sector will have to be understood. In electricity, there is intermittency. In manufacturing, there are process emissions. In agriculture, there are methane and nitrous oxide. In transport, there is the problem of energy density. Everywhere, there is a different science, a different economics, and a different policy challenge. In this fifth part, we come to understand that petrol, diesel, and jet fuel are not just fuels. They have become a habit of modern mobility. We have built highways, airports, ports, vehicles, and supply chains according to these very fuels. Now changing them is a generation-level project. But the good news is that change has begun. EV sales are rising, governments are making targets, companies are working on clean fuels, and cities are thinking toward better mobility systems. The road is long, but the direction has started to appear. From the first part until now, the story has become a big chain. To reach from 51 billion to zero, we have to clean up electricity. Then we have to change cement, steel, and plastic. Then we have to make agriculture and the food system smarter. And now we have to make transport cleaner. But the story of climate change is not complete yet, because another part of emissions is connected to our homes, buildings, heating, cooling, and daily comfort. The curiosity in the next part will be exactly this. How much energy does it take to keep the houses and buildings we live in cool in summers and warm in winters? What role do ACs, heating, refrigerators, and the design of buildings play in a climate disaster? And will the buildings of the future be able to become not just beautiful, but climate smart too?
If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible, but in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.